Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Average Joe Dividends YouTube channel. In this video, I let M1 do the stock picks for me with my $100 deposit that I do every Monday morning. And where the $100 goes depends on my current allocations. I'm going to scroll down and show you the three slices I have the portfolio divided into ETFs. You can see we're just a little bit underweighted there, where we're supposed to have 64% as the target, and the dividend portfolio 28%, so the target is met there, and we're a little bit underweighted on the 12 more dividends portfolio, so we'll see where the $100 went to based on those allocations. But just looking at the performance of this portfolio over the last year, you can see the money weighted return at 33.61%. Dividends earned over the last 12 months, 11,358.50. And we can see the current value of the portfolio. This is my taxable M1 brokerage account. This is about 15% of my current net worth. Most of my net worth is wrapped up in ETFs that are a total stock market and S&P type indexes. And we'll get more into that in a little bit. And I'll zoom into the 3 months. We'll take a look at the performance there. Up 7% there. And the last month, we're still up 3.55%. And then over the last week, we've kind of taken a little bit of a dip here. And today is no exception. We're down about 0.5%, down 0.58%. So you could look at this as a little bit of a buying opportunity, because we don't want the market to just keep going up and up. We also want to buy into these dips as well. And what I'm doing with these deposits, and I do 2 of them per week, $100 each, and I'm technically, it's dollar cost averaging into this portfolio. And I also invest in my 401k and my taxable Vanguard brokerage account as well. And of course, with my IRAs, I'm rolling those dividends back in to those positions as well. So let's jump into the activity log. And you can see here is the $100 deposits. Actually, it hasn't shown up yet. We can see the buys here. Sometimes it delays a little bit with M1. Like later this afternoon, the deposit will show up on the 21st of the $100. So I was able to put $100.01 to work into the 4 buys. And we'll see also the fractional shares that these bought. And this is I consider it a pretty small deposit, but for some people, that's all we can do. And I was in that position too, where even $100 a week was a lot of money. So this is not nothing. And we're going to see the effect of this with my dividend income. And we're also going to show some historicals as well. We'll get into that in a little bit. But it looks like most of the money went to A.O. Smith with $34.39. We'll see what that bought. It bought 0.43399 of a share, so about 43% of a share there with A.O. Smith. And then American Express, $31.08, and that bought 0.11276 of a share, so about 11% of a share. So these are all going to be fractional buys. And then Union Pacific, $9.24, and that bought a little over 3% of a share at 0.03818. So Union Pacific's dividend, it's just going to be moving up just a little bit with that $9 in there. And then Qualcomm, the last one, for $25.30, and it bought 0.14899 of a share, almost 0.15% of Qualcomm. Next, we're going to go into my Google Docs spreadsheet. And on this spreadsheet, I track all the positions in the portfolio. There's currently 52 positions in the portfolio, and the largest position right now is SCHD, which is a very popular ETF that has about 104 positions. I know some of them repeat. Some of the positions that are in SCHD, I think Home Depot is one of the larger ones, Cisco, things like that are already in there. But the individual positions that I have, some of them are not in SCHD, so I like to own them outside. And one of them is Broadcom, which has done quite well for me. So what this shows is the company, the ticker symbol, the current share price using a Google Finance function to pull that live. And here's the average share price that I've paid. And that's pulling from the M1 data tab with a VLOOKUP. And we're going to get into that as well. And then here's my current number of shares, also utilizing the VLOOKUP, so I don't have to type in my new shares and average share price or my cost basis. All I do is grab the data from M1 and then I paste it into this spreadsheet, and I'll leave a link below to it. So you're welcome to use it and put your own stocks into it. It's free, it's simple, and it works. No need for a service at all. Here is my cost basis, again using a VLOOKUP. Here is the gain or loss in each of the positions, and I express it in a percentage form. Anything above 25% will be in green. And then here is the dividend per share. This is quarterly, and I have a couple monthly payers, and you can see SCHD is in purple, and that is a variable dividend. We'll scroll down to the monthly payers, O Realty here, and then BST, and we're going to keep it here in October. And I've also put over here in dividends paid, I have the current dividend like for Union Pacific, and that's going to change, as well as for American Express, A.O. Smith, and then Qualcomm. So those four we're going to see change. And then I put in the dividends I've received so far for the month of October, and we're not even close to being done. And the sum is $90.23. You can see here, I also track the total dividends that have been paid to me, and I just increment those up. Like with my last dividend received, that was on the 16th with O Realty. And you can see I've received a whole bunch of these because these are monthly pairs. You can see though 1311, I just keep putting plus, 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 plus as I receive those. And it's kind of neat because you can see the progression. Like for Illinois Toolworks, my first dividend was $1.95, but it just keeps going up and up, and we're now at $8.54. And since I dripped this dividend back into Illinois Toolworks, the next one is going to be $8.59. So you can see how that works, how the next dividend is larger because I have dripped these in October. You can see those, all those have gone up. And since I haven't received these dividends, of course, they're not put here. The 1246 on the 24th, I'll receive that from Cisco and then Oracle, and I'll put those in, and I'll put the 1246 there and the plus 547. And then I also track the last increase percentage. You can see I express that in a percentage, anything above 5%, 5% or above, that's going to be in green. And then the increase month, that's the likely month it's going to happen. And some of these don't increase their dividends on the regular, and that is like Digital Realty. And sometimes they will have multiple dividend increases per year, like a Realty Income. I think they do their dividend increases like 2 or 3 times per year. And some of them do them like every 2 years, like Oracle, it seems like. So the Oracle had a very nice dividend increase the last time. It was like 25%. And then the last year they had 0. And so hopefully next year, Oracle will have another nice 25% dividend. And we can see here is the total for the market value of the portfolio right now. This is live. Here's my cost basis. Here's my gain or loss, including dividends. Here is the average yield of my positions, 2.6%. And then the yield on cost, 3.44%. Here are the quarterly dividends. And since some of these are monthly pairs, I have to add them in twice. That's the math there of 860 times 2. You can see that is for BST and O. I have to add those in twice because they're only represented once here. So I get the quarterly dividend. And then from the quarterly, I can calculate what the monthly and the annual is off that. And I've put the current monthly dividend because that's going to change. It's going to go up just a little bit. It's not going to go up too high because we only put in $100. And then these are not high yielders like Union Pacific at 2.23%. And then let's see, American Express is just over 1%. A.O. Smith is not even 2%. and Qualcomm is just over 2%. So we're going to see this change very modestly, with the first one changing being Union Pacific. So let's go grab that data over here at M1. Go to the Holdings tab. I'll leave a link below so you can see what is all in this portfolio and see my allocation for each of these. I'm going to start from the name column and just grab everything and just do a copy. We're going to do a paste on my Google Docs spreadsheet. You can see SCHD is by far the largest position in this portfolio. And then Pinnacle West is the smallest. So I grab that data. We go over here to my Google Docs spreadsheet and data. We're going to do a paste special in this column. What it's going to do is it's going to align the shares, cost basis, and average cost for every single position over here. And I do the VLOOKUP on the first tab to pull that information. It's arranged from the largest position to the smallest. SCHD, I didn't buy any additional shares, so that's going to remain the same. Only the 4 positions where I bought the fractional shares are going to change, and it's going to change the shares cost and average cost for those. So we go back to the dividend portfolio tab, and then we see the new dividend amount for Union Pacific from 557 to 562, and that will be paid at the end of December. Remember, it was like $9 for Union Pacific, so it was a very small buy. And then next up, American Express with that 1% yield. There was a little bit more, it was over $30, but we're moving from 459 to 467. But keep in mind, in January of this year, there was a 16% dividend increase. So I see American Express really growing that way over the years if they keep this up. Even with this low current yield, my yield on cost is going to go up as we have stock appreciation and then these dividend raises. Next up, A.O. Smith, 424 is what I would be receiving in November here. I'll have to check the ex-dividend date to see if we snuck that one in. But moving from 424 to 438. And then last up, Qualcomm, 699. We're going to be above the $7 mark there. And then we can see what the new monthly cash flow average will be, moving from $993.59 to $993.72. So we'll take this value and we'll take it over to the monthly average dividend tracking tab. Scroll all the way down here. Let's do some copying here. We're going to put in a new date. What I didn't do is, usually what I do is I'll put this in ahead of time, but I'll show you how I do this. We'll put a new line in. We started with the 993.59. We're going to 993.72. And we'll see what the effect was with this. So we added 13 cents of monthly dividend income with that $100 deposit. And again, this was a $100 deposit. So we'll put this in as the event. And the events that really move this, we can see are like dividend drips. Other deposits in here, you can see a dividend drip here, or dividend increases. A.O. Smith recently did a 6% dividend increase. We can see that moved it by 8 cents. Of course, sometimes they're just in pennies, but these all add up. And I'll show you real quick. Just for October, starting here, we've added a total now of $7.43 to forward monthly income. Just in October, we added that extra $7.43, and it's an extra $7.43 every month going forward, not just this month. So let's go into the dividend tracker tab. I started doing these videos on January 2021. We can see the starting portfolio value, and then here are the full month's dividends for January 2021. And you can see also deposits, quarterly performance as well, and the increase. And here's the average monthly dividend. And I started tracking this in May of 2021. This is kind of like a monthly paycheck if you want to look at it as that. So you can see how it's grown. And let's go down to where we're at in October. We can see the current portfolio value rounded to the nearest $100. Here are the dividends paid so far in October. We're not even close to being done. We have especially that big payer, BST, which is getting close to $500 still awaiting. Here's the new average monthly dividend, and we had a month-over-month change so far 743, and we can see just the change. There was a negative because of SCHD had a lower dividend from Q2 to Q3, but the Q3 dividend was bigger than the Q3 dividend of 2023. SCHD is a little bit kind of rocky, up and down, especially with Q1 dividend being the lowest historically. But you can see we're moving back in the right direction, month-over-month gain of 0.75%. And then here's the annual dividend getting close to that $12,000 mark there, 11,924. Here is the annual increase that we've increased the cash flow of this portfolio, another $100. So $600 so far deposited into, we're in week 3 of October. And then to close this video out, let's go over my total net worth statement. Like I said before, this portfolio that I've gone into detail over, this is about 15% of my total net worth, the 272,798. And we'll see, this will be in a line item in here we'll get to in just a little bit. But here is where most of my net worth is invested in, and it's in ETFs like VYM, VTI, VXUS. You can see I have an IRA at Vanguard, a small Roth brokerage account, and also a taxable brokerage account, all in ETFs. No individual positions there. Here's my current employer, 401k with T. Rowe, but it is in a low cost Fidelity S&P 500 index fund, almost at $100,000 there. And then at M1, I have an IRA here. This one was over $7,000 at one point, but today it went back down to $697. Here's the dividend portfolio right here, $272,684. This is changing because it's live. And here is M1 Savings. This is kind of like a 1-year emergency fund. And then here's another emergency fund at Synchrony for about 6 months. And then here is money, Capital One, my savings account there for more immediate expenses, probably about 2 months over there. And then here's the value of my home. And here are my liabilities. I have a credit card balance, which I will not carry over or pay interest in, but I just have the number here. I'm going to pay this off before it's due, but that's what it is at right now. I have plenty of cash waiting over here to pay that off. I'm just not going to surrender that over $2,000 away and pay it early and then lose out a little bit in interest there. And then here is my true liability, which is my mortgage. That's what I owe on the house. And then here's my total net worth, subtracting these two items out. And then here is the breakdown. 86% stock, 7.8% home equity, 5.5% cash. And then here it is broken down by pre-tax and after-tax investments. You can see I am very heavily invested in US versus international. And here's my average monthly dividend at $33.0555 when you count all sources of investments, and that includes cash, including interest in there. So 33.05. So once I do turn 59 and a half, this will be my paycheck waiting for me. I have over 8 years for this to grow. So my intent is to just draw from the interest and dividends and not have to actually sell the number of shares. I'll let the companies, give me a dividend, which is technically selling, partial shares. Whenever a dividend is granted, it's not free money. It just takes the decision-making aspect out of it for me to receive income. That's the way I look at it. I know some people don't understand how dividends work. It's actually the dividend, the dividend is the company breaking off, a piece of the cookie or whatever, how you want to look at it, or, a slice of the pizza going away. But companies that keep generating more and more revenue, they replenish that, slice quarterly or, annually as they conduct business. We can see here, I've been tracking also the dividends by month and all investments, as well as my net worth down here. And I really started doing this in November 2022. Let's slide on over where we're at right now. And the last full month, we haven't completed October yet, here's where I was at I received $4,467.53 in dividend payments. Here is my W-2 income net. Subtracting out expenses here was the gap that I had to invest or save. And then here was my closing net worth. We'll see where I wind up for my closing net worth in October. So far, I'm a little bit up, a little bit higher. We can see at 1.74, and then currently, we'll see if this holds up at 1.77. But you never know. We could have a bad week in the stock market and even have negatives. And there have been times where I've had negatives in months, and who knows, we could have a really bad stock market crash where I could, from one year to the next, be lower, even though I'm still investing. But that's just built into it. I know that could happen, and that doesn't scare me. Of course, it's not pleasant living through those things when you have crashes and things like that. But let's go back to the buys again and review those. And let me know in the comments below what you're thinking of buying this week, and also what you think about these 4 picks. Let me know if you have these in your dividend stock portfolio. Thanks for sticking to the end of this video, everyone. Click the like button if you got value from it. Also subscribe. My next video will be my second buy, where I'll pick 5 companies and put $20 into each of those. I hope everyone has a great week, and everybody take care.